Okay, question number 11 from January 2017, a request from someone on YouTube. In this question, solutions based entirely on graphical or numerical methods are not acceptable. Okay, solve for x between 0 and 2 pi. So first thing we say, we've got to think about radians. So straight away your calculator should be in radian mode. Cosine 3 cosine squared x plus 1 equals 4 sine squared x. Give your answer in radians to 2 decimal places. Okay, so now we've got to solve this equation. 3 cosine squared x plus 1 equals 4 sine squared x. Now here we have a choice really, because what we can do is we can make everything in terms of cosine or sine, okay, and then proceed. Okay, we could do that because we have cosine squared and sine squared. Okay, now remember our identities we've got sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. Now we're going to think about which would be more sensible for us to use to change it into. So for example, if I make it into, say, cosine squared, then that will be 1 minus sine squared. So it really, I don't think it makes much of a difference. Let me just make the sine squared into cosine squared. So we know that sine squared x is therefore 1 minus cosine squared x. Okay, so we can say 3 times cosine squared x plus 1 equals 4 times, and we got 1 minus cosine squared x. Okay, so now what we can do here is we can expand the bracket. So 3 cosine squared x plus 1 equals 4 minus 4 cosine squared x. We can bring the cosine squared x's to one side. So you have 3 plus 4, that's 7 cosine squared x equals 4 minus 1, which is 3. So cosine squared x is equal to 3 over 7. So now we can say that cosine x is equal to plus or minus 3 over 7. Plus minus the square root of 3 over 7. So we can say cosine x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 3 over 7. Okay, so we've got two different scenarios here. Sorry, let me just make some more space here. Okay, so we've got two different scenarios here. We've got cosine x equals, you have when cosine of x is equal to plus the square root of 3 over 7, and when cosine of x is equal to negative the square root of 3 over 7. So let's work out for both of those the solutions. We want them between 0 and 2 pi, it said. Between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so take our calculator. Make sure that it's in radian mode. So I've got to go to, oops, what am I doing here? Shift and menu. We go setup, input, output, angle unit 2, and radian, which is 2. Okay, so now we're in radian mode. So I'm going to put shift cosine of the square root of 3 over 7. Close the bracket. Okay. What did I do wrong here? Got to be very careful with this. Move it out and then close the bracket. There we are. 0.8571. I'm going to write it to more than the required decimal places. They told us to write it to how many decimal places? Let's go up and see. They told us to do 2 decimal places. I'm going to put to at least 3 or 4 for now, and at the end around it. So you're going to have x equals 0.8571. 0.8571. Now that's one solution. Okay, for cosine, there's also another solution between 0 and 360, which is 360 minus this. 360 is 2 pi. So if I take 2 pi and subtract the answer that I got last, it should give me 5.4261. 5.4261. And the other solutions are found by doing the negative of cosine 3 over 7. Okay, so I'll go back here and I will go back to this and just make this negative. All right, so now that will give me my other solution. So I've got 2.2845, 2.2845, and the other solution for cosine is always 360 minus that answer. I'm going to 360 minus this answer, so 360 minus my answer, which gives me 357 point. How come? Hold on. What am I doing? It's not 360. It's 2 pi. Be very careful. Okay, 2 pi is 360. We're doing in radians, so it's 2 pi. So that was a bit strange. Okay, so let's just hold on. Let's just do that again. Go back. Okay, we've got, this is 2.2845, which we've got there. We want to do 2 pi minus that. 2 pi minus that answer, which will give me 3.9987. 3.9987. 3.9987. Okay, so we've got our solutions in the end have to be to 2 decimal places, as I mentioned in the question. So we're going to put 0.86, and then in order 2.28, and then 3.99, okay, which is going to give you 4.00 actually. Okay, 4.00 to 2 decimal places, because that will make this become 10 there. So 4.00 and 2.28. And there we have our solutions to this problem. And I'm going to go on to part 2 of the question in the next video.